Hey guys, this is BishReviews and welcome to my channel, and today I'm back with another Disney Classic Storybook review. And on today's episode I have a book from the Disney Classic Storybook collection, and it's the Disney's Sleeping Beauty Classic Storybook. So yeah, these are the Australian version of the Classic Storybook, and this along with Aladdin, Lady and the Tramp and Pinocchio were one of the first books that I owned from the Classic Storybook collection. So yeah, those books are really dear to me. So also, I'm kind of desperately waiting for the deluxe version of the Sleeping Beauty. So yeah, let us begin with this review. So like every other classic storybook, these books have the blue border with sparkling stars. And on the top of the book, as we can see, it says Disney, and on the red ribbon it says Classic Storybook Collection. And down here it says Sleeping Beauty in yellow. And we have Aurora and Prince Philippe with some forest animals. So yeah, this is from one of the scenes from the movie where Aurora meets the prince for the first time. So yeah, this front looks really appealing. At the back of the book, we can see there's a bigger frame this time and with bigger stars. So yeah, on the top of the book, it again says Disney, and it has Classic Storybook Collection in the red ribbon. And it says, take your child on a wondrous journey, and there are some few details and paragraphs. And it says, Walt Disney Sleeping Beauty, and we have the fairies. And yeah, these books are by Funtastic, and here's the barcode, and it says printed in China. So here's the spine of the book, and it says Disney Sleeping Beauty Classic Storybook Collection and Funtastic. So let us open the book and have a better look on the inside. So yeah, like every other classic storybook, this first page has the Disney classic characters. And yeah, here we go. So on top here it says Walt Disney Sleeping Beauty, and the Sleeping Beauty is glittered. And we have Aurora, and it says Funtastic. And yeah, it says first published in Australia. So yeah, these are the Australian version of the books, and there are the other details where this was manufactured, who was it illustrated by, and so on. So yeah, like I mentioned in every other review video of the classic storybooks, so yeah, if you want to read the story, please pause the video. I would be focusing more on the illustrations only. So yeah, here begins the story. So here is Prince Philippe, who is so young at the moment. And we have King Herbert, who is father of Philippe. And here are the three fairies who came for the blessing. Yeah, these illustrations are really old school. They kind of do match the movie. And yeah, also, Sleeping Beauty was one of the first Disney movie I ever watched. I only had watched the series of the Disney movies, like the Aladdin, the Little Mermaid, and Hercules. I didn't know that they had movies. So yeah, Sleeping Beauty was the very first movie that I ever watched. So before Merryweather could bestow the child with the blessing, Maleficent appears, and here is this gorgeous villain. She is very displeased, so she, curses the child. Oh my god, I really love these illustrations. They're really dramatic. I mean, when I saw this book in the store for the very first time, these illustrations just made me want to buy them instantly. So yeah, here is Merryweather, and this is one of the glimpses that the blessing gives out. So she turns the curse into, she cannot undo the curse, but she changes a little bit. So yeah, the curse was that she would prick her finger in the spinning spindle or something like that. Spinning wheel. So they burn it all. Yeah, the illustrations are kind of really bland as for now, as you have already seen. I mean, I have already seen few of the newer illustrations of the Sleeping Beauty. So this kind of looks really bland. But yeah, they do match the movie really well. Poor king and queen who have to see their who had to see their baby be taken away. And yeah, they got the child after a really long time. So yeah, here is Maleficent's castle, Forbidden Tower, or no, this is the Forbidden Mountain. So yeah, they searched far and wide for the baby, but they have not found it. But then suddenly Maleficent realizes that the henchmen were looking for a baby, and the time had flown away and the baby must have grown old. So she sends her pet raven to find the baby. And here's Aurora, who is, I guess, 16, who turned 16, and she is helping her aunts to clean the house. I mean, these illustrations look really amazing. I really love this. I mean, these books really make you relive the movies. So they are trying to give her a surprise. They send her to the forest to get some berries and mushrooms, I guess. So yeah, she goes to the forest, and since she has no friends, she has befriended the animals of the forest. And yes, she starts to sing about her dream, what she had dreamed. I mean, she had a dream of a prince, and she's sharing that story with her friends. And she starts singing, and that's when Prince Philippe hears her singing. And yeah, kind of rushes to find her, but then his horse, Samson, rushes up and drops him into the pond. And as he was drying his clothes, the animals steal them to give Briar Rose the feeling that she has met the prince. And here they are role-playing, I would say. There are the two bunnies, and there's the owl and two birds. One is Nightingale. I don't know what the other one is. So as she was singing, suddenly the prince appears and starts singing with her. And that magical moment ends when they both realize that they both have fallen in love for each other. I mean, the magical moment begins actually. So back in the house, the Fairy Godmothers, I mean the three fairies, are planning a surprise party for her. And two of them are making dress, and one of them is baking the cake. I mean, I really hate when the illustrations are left, out of details, like up there, like so many blank spaces. I don't think that these places were really blank. So as you can see, the icing is melting down. So the icing is sliding down. And here is Merryweather and Flora fighting for the color of the dress. Merryweather says it should be blue, and Flora says it should be pink. So as they are fighting, the magical sparks get out of the chimney. And yeah, the pet raven finds where the princess was hidden all this time. So yeah, when she comes back, she is surprised, but then she starts talking about the prince, and the fairies get worried and decide to take her back. So yeah, Briar Rose had invited the prince to the house, but fearful that the prince could be someone that would be hurting Aurora, the fairies take her back. So back in the castle, before she meets her parents, I think the scene is missing out here, she is asked to sit in the room waiting for the king and the queen. That's when Maleficent hypnotizes Aurora and takes her somewhere in the castle, and then yeah, she pricks her finger, and as soon as she touches the needle, she goes through the deep sleep. She falls down on the floor, and here is Maleficent. Yeah, the scene looks exactly like the movie, but I would want a little bit more details, I would say. And yeah, again, there is a scene missing where Maleficent is telling the fairy that she had succeeded. And yeah, since the fairies think that the king and the queen would be heartbroken, they put everyone into sleep until Aurora is woken up. And they knew that they had to find the true love's kiss, so they kind of figured out that the prince is the one. So yeah, here they're talking about, yeah, that's when the fairies hear King Hubert talk about Philippe falling in love with the princess, I mean a girl from the woods. So this illustration looks really nice as well. So yeah, as he was invited, he goes to the cottage, but To his surprise, there is Maleficent to to welcome him. She didn't want to take any chances. So yeah, he's put into a dungeon in the Forbidden Mountain. And that's when the fairies arrive and free him so that he could save the day. But on their way, the Maleficent's pet kind of find out and starts crowing, and here is it. And the magic turns the arrows into flowers, and I kind of really miss that they have missed so many illustrations. So yeah, there are so many illustrations missing. It's really a big bummer to me. So yeah, here's Prince trying to get into the castle, but Maleficent, desperate, has turned the way to the castle into a thorn forest. And yeah, the prince uses Sword of Truth to strip through it, and desperate again, she turns herself into a dragon. And yeah, here is Fairy is adding a little magic in the sword again, and that's how he defeats Maleficent. And yeah, he finally gets to the tower where Aurora was sleeping, and he kisses her, and she comes back to life. And I really wish there was a scene like where he's kissing her, rather than just looking at each other. And finally, Aurora meets her parents, and yeah, they live happily ever after. But this is not what the story actually is from the real-life movie of Maleficent. It's somewhat different. So yeah, everyone has their own side of story. So yeah, here is the Disney classic characters again, and there is Aurora. And yeah, that ends the story. And yeah, if I have to recommend this book, I would say yes, go for them, because these are treasures and they are really hard to find these days. So yeah, you have to get them. So yeah, if you have any questions, please hit the comment section below. Please do like and subscribe, and also support me by following me on Instagram, because I would be posting my updates out there as well. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. I have more classic storybook reviews coming soon. And thank you so much for watching.